What's good, Commanders fans? Just wanted to chime in and make a quick video here. Really wanted to talk about that survey too. I'm gonna chime in about the survey at the end, but I did want to talk about the combine. The Commanders have started to meet with players. Joey Porter Jr., the cornerback out of Penn State, of course, you know his dad is Joey Porter, who played linebacker for the Steelers. He said that he did have an interview with the Commanders. Also, Ben Stanek reported that they had an interview with Cyrus, Torrence, the guard out of Florida. He went to Louisiana State as well. He transferred, had a good Senior Bowl as well. So I just want to talk about those guys a little bit, and then talk about the NFLPA survey. They talked about the work conditions for the players, basically the facilities, the locker room, the coaching staff, not the coaching staff, but the training staff, showers, etc., stuff like that, plane rides, plane travel situations, stuff like that. Some stuff definitely stood out for sure. So, but let's get into Cyrus Torrence out of Florida, man. Any offensive lineman the Commanders are looking to draft, or any offensive lineman, I'm definitely down for it. I don't care if it's the first round. I really don't care. I know some people don't want to draft a guard, or the consensus thinking of drafting is not to get a guard in the first round. I don't really care, because you just look how bad this offensive line was this year. Andrew Norwell, Trey Turner. We just had a turnstile. Had a couple of injuries as well. The center spot as well. Tackle, I don't care what it is. I just want to attack. I want to attack the offensive line. Of course, you don't want to just draft anybody, but we have to attack the offensive line at least in the first 3 rounds. And I think corner is up there too. I think, Ben St. Juste had a couple of injuries. He's good, but he had a couple of injuries. He missed a couple of games. He missed a good amount of games the year before his rookie season. So we just need depth at the position. We did sign Rashad Wildgoose, but he can only do so much. He's a good depth piece, but he's definitely not a starter. Kendall Fuller. His contract is coming to an end pretty soon, so we got to get a young corner in here. So let's look at Cyrus Torrence here. He played 1,501 pass blocking snaps and allowed 0 sacks. Only had 12 penalties in his whole career. Just looking at his write-up from NFLDraft.com, he was all Sun Belt Conference. He was all Sun Belt Conference selection as a sophomore. He did transfer to Florida. So he did play against SEC competition. Probably his toughest game was against Jalen Carter, who plays for Georgia, who's in some legal troubles right now. He struggled against him, but he was Cyrus was all SEC as well. Played 11 starts at right guard. He opted out of the Las Vegas Bowl, thus finishing his career without giving up a sack. So he's really good in run blocking. That's what I've seen from his tape, and that's what I've heard as well. He's really good at run blocking. Ron Vera, he wants to be a run-first team. Forget the 2-to-1 pass thing. And, Eric Bieniemy's a running backs coach. Yes, he coached up Pat Mahomes where they threw the ball a lot, but they could run the football with Isaiah Pacheco and also Jerry McKinnon. So, but he's a mauler, man. He's a mauler. He's disciplined. Not a lot of penalties. He's a mauler. He gets to the second level very quickly. He's very physical and plays to the end of the whistle as well. His strengths per NFL Network very broad across the chest and waist. Wide build creates impediment for interior pass rushers. Uses independent hands for added balance and pass pro. Quick to read, twist, and search for adjustments assignments. Penalty-free throughout the 2022 season per PFF. Adequate contact pop with ability to neutralize opponent's power. His size helps to generate movement as a drive blocker as well. The write-up also says held his own in matchups against Georgia's Jalen Carter, but Jalen Carter kind of did get the best of him in that game a little bit sometimes. Above average strain to sustain his blocks as well. Weaknesses, somewhat indecisive when faced with pressure locks. Struggles to efficiently mirror athletic rushers. Overextension and pass as opens him to counters. So he's more of a run blocker he's better at run blocking than he is in pass pro. But he was blocking for Anthony Richardson, who is a dual threat quarterback. So I think he would do well with Sam Howell, who is a dual threat quarterback. Not to the extent of Anthony Richardson, but I think Cyrus Torrence would definitely step in and be good for the Commanders from day one as well. He was number 1 in PFF for all interior offensive lineman with an 88.0 run blocking grade, 90.2 zone blocking grade, a 74 gap blocking grade, and a 76.1 pass blocking grade as well. So he didn't give up a sack at all in his career. So just outstanding numbers for Cyrus Torrence as well. Another weakness, struggles to effectively mirror athletic rushers. Overextension of pass sets opens him to counters. Unable to bend and create proper leverage into contact. So pick 16, I wouldn't mind that. I mind him at all at pick 16. I think he would be a solid draft pick for sure to shore up this offensive line. And I think he would definitely come in and immediately start. 6'5", 337 pounds. So the guy's a mauler. He's very physical as well. So let's move on to Joey Porter Jr. This guy, he gave up 0 touchdowns, very physical, press man corner, 6'2", 194 pounds, redshirt junior out of Bakersfield, California. Of course, went to Penn State. Only allowed a 59.1 passer rating as well. He had 10 penalties in 2021, but only 3 in 2022. So he's very physical at the catch point as well. Very handsy as well, but he really will jam you at the line of scrimmage. That's where he's best at. He had a solid showing against some of those Ohio State wide receivers as well. The only knock on him is that, he doesn't have quick feet. He struggles against slants, but he's a very physical corner, has very long arms as well, he has really fluid hips as well, played track and field in high school, so he can run with the best of them. But he was targeted 30 times and only gave up 15 catches for 143 yards. So he could be the lockdown corner that the Washington Commanders are looking for, next to Ben St. Juste, next to Kendall Fuller, added depth. I think he would be a great draft pick at pick 16 as well. He was first team All-American, first team All-Conference, consists of second team Associated Press All-American. Also winning the team's most valuable defensive player award with 27 tackles, 11 pass breaks, and 11 pass breakups and 10 starts, despite missing 2 late season games with appendicitis, and he opted out of the Rose Bowl as well. So strengths is he's the most physical reroutes in this year's draft. Like I talked about, his physical hands and jamming guys at the line of scrimmage as well. Smart hand usage, helps cover when feet are late. Weaknesses are noticeable delay in transition from press, struggles to slide and match release quickness, not twitchy enough to match a complex route, too grabby at the top of the route. So those are the concerns. And you can see that with Ben St. Juste. Sometimes he's a little grabby, but he's sticking with receivers. He's very physical at that line of scrimmage. And that's similar to Joey Porter Jr. as well. So I think Joey Porter Jr. would be a good pickup as well. 6'2", 298 pounds, only giving up a 59.1 passer rating allowed on the season. So, all right, let's quickly move over to the survey here, what I saw. So basically the Commanders were dead last in the survey rankings. They were 32nd out of 32 teams. They got an F in treatment of families. Tied for 29th, tied for last. Food service and nutrition, they got a D+. Weight room, they got a C+. Strength coaches, they got an A+. Training room, an F-. Training staff, a D. Locker room, F-. Team travel, F-, which was last, 32nd out of 32 teams. So I'm going to read the article a little bit too here. The locker room does not have confidence that club owner Dan Snyder is willing to invest to upgrade facilities, as players' responses rank him 31st in that category. So, everybody heard about him, paying for the stickers like $4 or $5 million to slap a sticker, a skin sticker on the plane. So he decided to use money for that. Then, of course, the loan that he's in trouble for is like a $55 million loan or something like that. Dan Snyder, we already know that he was tight for money. Then they talked about the sewage in the shower, not sewage in the shower, but the drainage in the shower. They complained about that. So I'm not surprised about that, because remember, the sewage coming out of FedEx Field, coming out of the stadium. So I'm not surprised about players complaining about drainage in the shower and the shower not being hot, the tubs not being hot, or stuff like that. So I'm not surprised at that at all. The report also says players also reported that they have some of the smallest hot and cold tubs for players' recovery, and only 35% of players feel like they have enough personal space in the locker room. You can clearly see that from the interviews. They do have an old school. FedEx Field is just really old. You can see the locker rooms are old. Everything's old. You can see how close they were to each other when you watch the press conferences, the interviews after the game. You can see that from years ago. So it's still the same. Finally, there are complaints about lack of warm water and issues with poor drainage in the shower. That's pretty darn awful. 22% of players feel like they have enough space. They don't they have enough space on team flights. You can see when Taylor Heineke, remember he had the beer and they put the chains on him. Everybody was pretty close on each other. And you can see that with other teams too, but other teams do have more space. You can see, even in the NBA, you see, stuff like that where players have better planes and other stuff like that. But you can see that they were pretty close. When we beat the Eagles on Monday Night Football, you can see how jam-packed the plane was. The Commanders are one of 6 teams in the NFL that make a segment of their players have roommates before games, and one of 7 teams in the NFL that do not offer their players first-class seats. What was the other thing that was really bad, man? There was another thing that was really darn bad. 22%. I already read about that. They don't like the training staff. They don't trust the trainer. You can remember that with Trent Williams, what he brought up. Chase Young didn't want to train with the trainers. So we've heard reports with Alex Smith talking about how he didn't like how they handled him and treated him. So I'm not surprised about this stuff at all. It's just showing that we need a new owner. We need new ownership. We need an owner to come in with more money, more assets to upgrade the facilities, get a new stadium, get better facilities, even out in Ashburn, the practice facilities. They just need to upgrade all over the place. It's pretty darn bad. So, but you see, there were some other good teams that were ranked low too. Like the Chiefs were like bottom 10. The Bengals were like bottom 10. All that really matters is that we got to get a better quarterback in here. But just for the humanity of the team, they do need to upgrade facilities and treat people better. Now, they still have been able to get free agents here. They still have. They signed William Jackson. Even though he didn't work out well, they did sign him. They signed Landon Collins. That didn't really work out ultimately well. They did re-sign Terry. They did re-sign John Allen. So people say it's not a free agent destination, but money talks. Like when they show people money, of course people sign with the team. So, yeah, once again, it just shows how trifling Dan Snyder can be, man. It really does. And just how much he really doesn't have money at this point. I mean, he still has money, but he's still struggling right now for sure. So, all right, you guys, man. You guys want to let you know. You guys let me know what you guys think about Joey Porter and Osiris Torrence. Would you pick those guys at 16 or would you pick somebody else? And of course, the Vigit League, I think Aaron is still in first place. Make sure you guys sign up for that. The league ends on the 7th, man. So it's almost done, man. Whoever wins gets a free jersey. So sign up. It's a fantasy wager league, fantasy betting league. You bet on the NFL, NHL, NBA. It's getting hot right now. And then March Madness is coming up as well. And don't forget about Prize Picks as well. The link is down below in the description for a first 100% deposit match as well. Healthy Commanders. Peace.